Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock, and for over 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. So now I'm on a mission to help other new business owners just like you make money doing what you love too. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started.
Well, hello, this is Kimberly. It's episode 107, and I am so excited that you're here today because I have a special guest on the show. Her name is Stacy deLarios. She's a Pilates instructor who worked for a fitness club for many years and decided, you know what? It's time I open my own studio. And I wanted her to come on the show because she is not only a client of mine, she is one of my Grow Getters members, but she is a fellow Texan, I found out when I talked to her one time on a consult call. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we immediately hit it off. And I thought she is perfect to share with you because you get to see what it's like with someone in the trenches. She just opened her Pilates studio in July of 2021. We are now end of October when I'm recording this. She hasn't had it open that long, but you can see that she has survived. She's doing this. So I'm so glad that you get to hear her today. If you are new, welcome. I'm so glad you found this podcast. Each week, I provide you with valuable tips and strategies for starting and building a business doing what you love. Make sure you get your free goodies below. I've got a 16-step checklist, which Stacy mentions in here that she downloaded when she first found this podcast, and she found it very valuable. You'll get to hear that. But also make sure you hit subscribe. If you're new, hit the follow button. If you're in Apple Podcasts, there's a little plus sign because you don't want to miss out on any episodes that are going to help you build this business dream of yours. And if you've been listening a while, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the wonderful ratings and reviews. It means the world to me, and I'm just so honored to be helping all of you. Okay, on to the episode. Okay, everyone, get ready. Today is exciting. We've got Stacy on the show, and I just wanted to preface this real quick before the audio comes in of our conversation. So just to give you a little background, as I said a minute ago, Stacy was working as a Pilates instructor for a studio and building their business and had her own aha moment, which you will hear, where she said, why am I building someone else's business when I can do this on my own? I know that I can do this. And so you get to hear her story about how she first started, what she was even doing before she was a Pilates instructor, then as a Pilates instructor, then her journey into deciding that she was going to make this happen, and then actually taking steps to build her business dream. She is doing this, people. You get to hear this. She is a perfect example for you of someone who is in the thick of it, who is in it. She's doing this. She's taking steps every day. She is planning out everything that she is doing in the coming months so that she can build her network. And you will hear what it's like to build a local business and how Stacy says here, you have to be telling everyone what you do all the time to get the word out because she's a local business. And if you're a local business, you have got to be getting the word out
everywhere. So this episode is fun. Yes, it's longer than my normal episodes, and don't tell anyone, but we talked for almost 2 hours. So my editor had to chop a lot of it out because y'all would be like, wait, why is this 2 hours? Anyways, we cut it down, and I just want you to get a glimpse into what it's like to be someone who is actually in this process of building her business and has only had her location open for a few months, and how awesome it is. And you can just feel the joy in her and how happy she is to finally be doing this. It's just like you. If you're scared, if you're nervous, know that this can happen for you with some planning and some strategy. You too can do this. Okay, here comes Stacy. Enjoy. Well, Stacy, I am so glad that you are here today. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait for everyone to learn about how you've transitioned from working for someone else to now working for yourself as a Pilates instructor. This is just so exciting. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here and share my story and hopefully inspire others.
Yes, I agree, because I think people need this boost right now because there's so many people in your situation that work for someone else and they've got this passion and skill that's just getting squashed and they want to open their own business. So I would love for you to share kind of how where you worked before you were a Pilates instructor and how you came into this field and what happened and the whole thing. So we're ready.
Right out of college, I got a job in sales and moved out to Southern California and started doing that job for 4 years. And when it was time to part ways with them, went into another outside sales career because I was good with people, did that. And it paid the bills. After I met my first husband, not that I have many, but
exactly how many are there? No, I'm kidding.
Just two.
Okay.
Hopefully never ever a third. Okay. God willing. Right. So, I did not need to work. Okay. But again, being, I think I was probably 29 at the time. I'm like, what am I going to do? I have no kids. I'm not a lady of leisure. That's ridiculous. So before, we were married or engaged and married, I had told him, I have always seen Pilates. Like I would walk my dog around this island. I lived on Balboa Island in Southern California. And I'd see Pilates studios and it was just like the weirdest looking stuff you've ever seen and it was just like, I couldn't understand it. Like, I was just like, what is that? So curious, very curious. Well, anyways, when I started it took a bulging disc away, like so many problems. It developed like inner strength in me, both physically and emotionally. And once my ex and I got engaged, I was like, well, what am I going to do? Like, what am I supposed to do? And one of my instructors was like, you should become a Pilates instructor. And I was like, seriously? She said, absolutely. You're so good. I know where you're going to do your training. And if you complete your training, you will have a job with this studio. I fell in love with it so hard, like so hard once I started doing it. And then the training, it was scary at times because you're like, how am I supposed to know all these things? But, the training was amazing. I was very, very blessed to be trained by some incredibly talented women.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you saw the health benefits firsthand, like through your own body. Yep. By taking Pilates, you were changed because of it and it made you feel better. You said a bulging disc.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So you felt the benefits personally, and then now you're like, oh, wait, I could do this. I could be an instructor. And so you got the training.
It's like, it's so funny. It's very intimidating to people. They're very intimidated to try. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about it. Like, oh, it's only for women. Actually, it was invented by a man for men. I won't go into the total history of that, but it was by Joseph Pilates. And that was it happened in the early 1900s.
Wow. Fun fact.
It's crazy.
So you believe in it wholeheartedly. It sounds like, no doubt. You've seen the results. Yeah. Yeah. So you end up working for a corporation. Is that right? Teaching Pilates. Is that?
So
What happens next?
I worked for a couple of studios.
Okay.
So the first husband went bye-bye. Okay.
Okay.
That was actually, a hard time, but a blessing in disguise. And I met the second husband while he was out in California, and I was teaching. Pilates. I was like the round robin person where I did like two different studios, and I was starting at a gym at an Equinox. And when you in Pilates, they're like, oh, a Pilates studio, a studio. Well, it's very hard to get business in a Pilates studio if you don't have like a lot of walking traffic. You have to have a certain management team that wants to grow you. Okay. So that can be hard depending on who's managing. If they want more clients, well, they're not going to give that walk into you per se.
Right.
So with a gym, I learned real quick that, okay, you have a huge audience. You have all these members that are at the club.
Right.
And I went like 0 to 60 and built up this amazing clientele to only like really leave like 3 or 4, probably like 5 months into it, because I met my husband. He's like, oh, you can teach Pilates in Houston. And I was like, this is insane. And then I moved to Houston.
And then you moved to Houston. Okay.
Right. So when he was prepping for me to come, he had gone on a tour of one of the big racket clubs downtown. Okay. And he was like, oh yeah, my girlfriend teaches Pilates. And she was like, we are in desperate need of Pilates instructors. FYI, if anybody's thinking of doing that, there's a huge need for them in the market, like apparatus trained Pilates instructors, because the training's pretty intense and can be pretty pricey. But let's say 5 years in, I was like, I need more. Like, I need to grow. I can't just keep doing that. Like, no, I need to grow. And so my passion was so great for this that I was conflicted as to feeling like, well, what am I going to do this? Just do this for the ever? Like, that was weird. That felt strange. So anyways, I started to develop, like I wrote pretty much a business plan or like a little presentation to say, like, if I would like to be in charge of growing this program, I would like to be
for the club.
For the club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And since my club is a corporate that owns a bunch of different clubs, right? I was like, thinking in my mind, okay, well, I could even be like a corporate trainer for other studios throughout the country of like, here's how you market this. Here's how you do this, because I was already good at sales, right? So I already had that skill set. And also then you add in anybody's passion for what they do. And that's a whole new level of, let's say that's like sales in itself. Because
it is.
Right. That energy is contagious.
Right.
So, and they just like, it fell on deaf ears when I tried to show them like, hey, I do want to be compensated for this. Because one, I'm not going to grow it for free. We don't work for free, right?
Right. Everyone.
And you should not work for free.
Note to self.
Note to self. Unless it's mothering, and I guess it's not free, but whatever, So I complained to my husband, and he'd be like, you just need to do your own thing. I was like, well, a lot of my clients have said you need to open your own studio. I do think there was probably resentment in building in me, because I was like, they don't see my value. I'm not valued, right? And I'm valued by my members, but not by the people I make money for. And that was something that was kind of starting to be too much of an energy drainer, like an emotional vampire of like, why am I putting this passion and giving it my all when they don't even care to really implement like a trial program of utilizing me? That was like, okay, this is something that has to change. I would brainstorm, but then there's that fear factor, of the enemy putting that doubt in your mind.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I could do it. What, like, oh, but I'm going to have to really restrict these things. And what if I can't do that? And all those self-doubt. Well, then COVID hit. And
so now we're 2020 and
we're at COVID.
March. Yes, good dealing with all that.
Right. And of course, everything was like, especially fitness was like, and that was like, that's it. I'm not going back without
like you realize
of leaving and doing this for myself.
It's
And
so funny that you say that there was like a moment, because when I have coaching clients and others that I've talked to, the same thing happens. Like stuff snowballs. And then all of a sudden you realize one day that the power is within you. Like you've always expected, like something's going to happen. I'm waiting on this, or maybe this will happen, or I'm just going to let this go. One day you feel empowered. I don't know what happens. And I've had my own instance of that too, where I woke up and went, wait, I have total control over this situation. Why have I been leaving this in someone else's hands? What am I doing? So I love that you say that, because there's, I'm sure, a lot of people listening right now that have been going through troubles with maybe working for someone else or a job that they're in. Their vision for building the business and doing great things for it has not been seen or heard, or maybe they've not been respected, like you said, or defended or felt protected. And if that's you out there, if anyone is out there feeling this, I want you to know that there's hope and that you have the power within you right now to decide, what do you want your future to be? And what's awesome is you're going to get to hear Stacy's, the rest of her story, which is so awesome. But it's a testament to you realizing that you have the power, and you have to have that aha moment for yourself. You have to realize today, like, literally, I can go the other direction. I don't have to do this. I do not. There is another way. I can be resourceful. I am willing to go through maybe not having as much money or doing whatever and becoming the resourceful person that I am to make this work, because I know this is not good for me. I love it that you had that moment. You realize it, you remember it. And that was the moment.
That was the moment that I was like, okay, this is just a total side note, but I literally like stopped drinking. Like it wasn't a joke. Like I was like, okay, I'm cutting out anything that's going to take from me. I'm not saying anybody has to do that, but that was my like, okay, I'm going to take that out. I'm going to get serious. Like, I'm not going to be fearful anymore of doing this. Like, I can do this.
This was a lot of life changes at one time. I mean, it's not like you moved or something and divorced, but you were sitting there going, I'm changing things today. I'm stopping these bad habits. I'm not having these toxic things in my life anymore. And I have a choice to go the other direction. So that's awesome. So you make the choice. You say, today's the day. I'm doing this. And what'd you do next?
So what I did is I got with my husband, Derek, and, told him, okay, I've been starting to look up like how much a space would be. I think I would need this much square foot. I knew I was going to do a boutique studio that was going to be mostly just for private clients or like duet training, because I already owned 2 pieces of equipment. So I had those, right? Okay. I knew I had those. And I got with a realtor and started, just starting to look. After the summer, like in September 2020, I did go back to the club. You have to be careful in this situation because you obviously don't want to hurt your reputation. You want to leave a situation like this with the cleanest hands you can.
I agree.
And you have to honor the fact that you have been partnering with this company. Obviously, no matter what, I've been using their equipment. I've been using their marketing. Like, you have to like look at it and say, okay, they're not, my management is the problem in this case. And I'm going to, leave them, but I need to leave with grace. Like, I need to do the right thing, because again, you are what you are. Like, you are who you are, and your reputation is everything in a small business. It's not something you can mess around with. So, I didn't have any non-competes. I didn't have anything. And I had, spoken to clients slowly and just kind of felt them out. I was like, I've been thinking about this for years, and I had some that were already like, yes. And of course, words are great.
Right.
But actions are greater.
Right.
So you're kind of like testing the waters, because we didn't have some cash flow where I could just like go 3 to 4 months with rent and no clients to pay it. Right. No.
Right. So now you're trying to figure out, how do I access these people maybe that left, that were clients that are no longer there? Because you don't want to step on the toes and like poach at the
if they're not members anymore.
If they're not members, right? But if they are members, like, so that's a struggle, I would say, for business owners like you that I've coached too, that they're leaving one business. How do you gracefully, like you said earlier, do that without
stepping on toes, poaching on them, doing the right thing, being ethical as you leave,
Right.
but trying to leverage the relationships that you have established. So you went
Absolutely.
for, you're saying the people, were you trying to find the people that had already left the club that weren't members? Or
Well, those
no?
people, I just were like, no, I knew those people were open season, like
Right.
I didn't have to tiptoe around that, but no, I
Okay.
absolutely, had my people at the club. I knew ethically, like what was
Right.
cool or not cool.
Right.
Obviously you're
Right.
not like parading around and,
Saying,
you know,
hey, I'm
no,
opening a studio,
you are
follow me.
definitely not telling management that.
No,
I
not at
did
all.
tell my manager at the time, who still is my athletic director, who is amazing. He used to just be a personal trainer. And I told him, I'm like, I mentioned the public thing a lot. And I go, I feel like there's more people I can help. So I haven't built up a lot of business. Like when we would do like kind of I was trying to hint, I was trying to
Right.
leave,
Right. Little
I've always wanted
breadcrumbs.
to open my own studio. And there
Right.
are instructors that work there that do have their own studio. Let's just say so with my clients, when you're working with somebody personally like this, you develop, of course, a pretty deep relationship with them. So you knew who you could ask. And then you would be like, you get to the point where saying, hey, I want to let you know where my head's at and just be honest. And, I'm really thinking of opening my own business. I would love for you to like continue working with you. But I had decided, like, if they didn't want to come, that was okay. Like, but I wasn't going to ask total permission. But I had been like, I had already known my people. Like, let's say I had 5 or 6 people I see once or twice a week. And I was pretty sure they would come. Okay. And so, of course, nobody's sure until it happens. Right. But prepping them was crucial because it took like, by the time we were prepping, let's say February, I didn't actually open until July because of having to find a place and going through some hoops. And like, we'll talk about too, like that journey, but I was grooming, like I was putting my pipeline together.
Right.
I was setting up who could do this, how many sessions a week I need, how do I manage that? And so, yeah, it was just like that kind of planning, but that it was going to happen.
And what I love about you, Stacy, and this is something I noticed from the beginning when I first met you too, is the confidence that you have in what you do. And so that speaks volumes to people. Like we were saying earlier, like they can see your passion, but also they see your confidence. Like, you know the results that people can get if they put their mind to it, right? And they do the things that you're going to teach them, but just, it intrinsically, it's all over your body. It's exuding from you.
Right.
And I think that helps you when you're opening your own business, that when you have that confidence, like, I know that I believe in this product or service that I'm offering. I know it. You have to do that because there's other stuff you may not have as much confidence in because it's the unknown of like, how many clients am I really going to get? Or am I going to be able to find these people? Am I going to be able to grow this? Like, we have to believe in what we're doing because then that will guide us in serving people and inspiring people.
And the confidence, over time, it came from my clients' feedback. And, I feel like as women, we're always like, oh, well, that's sweet, but I don't know. And then there was one time, I don't even know if I heard it, where I heard it, but it was like, no, you need to stop like ignoring the compliment and realize that
and take it.
Yes.
Take it.
And being like, no, it has to be, I have to be like very, very good at this or gifted. 1, to see what I built up so quickly. 2, to have the feedback I have from clients and the success rate of fixing them and helping them. Right.
What we touched on about accepting belief, I think that's hard for a lot of people. And
totally.
Yeah, you think people are just flattering you. They're like, you're good at it. And we know sometimes when people are flattering us, but you have to understand that time after time, if you're getting the same feedback, and you have got to take that to heart and go, I have something here. I know I can do it. Some people have been doing stuff on the side and have never been paid for it, but still get the compliments. And I even did a podcast episode on this for the Grow Getters in the Mindset Matters podcast about, that was the first one I did, was accepting belief. Because if you don't accept it and really take it in, you're not going to have the confidence that you need to portray to everyone to make this happen. You have to have it within you, because if you don't believe you, how do you expect someone else to believe you? How do you expect someone else to believe in what you're selling or offering, right? For those of you out there that have never been paid to do what you do, get some test products out there, do something so that you can get that feedback to get that confidence. Like Stacy's saying, now she was lucky. She'd had this job and she had been doing very well at it. And so she had that luxury of, when she started, already knowing it was proven, it was good, and it was all that. So if you don't, then you've got to have testers. You got to have people who are going to do it so that you can gain that confidence. Right. So I think that's just important to note, because some people just come into it going, wait, how do I have confidence? I've never sold this before. I've never done this.
Right. And developing that confidence too, like get your product, get out there, whatever if you're selling either a service, try offering it to not just family and friends, because as we've mentioned before, sometimes family and friends are literally the worst clients you can have.
Right.
Like my family or friends, again, what we can Google like anything, right? Like where you could test it out. Like there's got to be something, like listen to podcasts like you with ideas, like everything. Just go figure it out, because if you're already thinking it, you've got it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You have to commit to it, right? You've got to, take the next step. And that will come with either, if you're not ready yet, you're doing your time, you're starting to research, but it will come.
Yeah. So what'd you do? Did you start researching? Like, what'd you do when you were like, how did you research and plan for opening your own business? What steps did you take?
So the first steps, and as we've joked about before, my husband's like, you need to write a business plan. It's like, writing is not my strong point. Like, and I always would tell, like, when we'd have to do stuff for the club, like business plans, I'm like, I'm just the talent. Okay. You all just need to do it for me. Like, I'm the talent.
You're like, I don't want to do a business plan. Can we just go ahead and let's get that on the table? I don't want to do that.
I don't like that. That's not my jam. So I never did the business plan, because I was like, I don't want to do that.
I've got it. I've got it up here in my head.
That's what I said. I go, it's in my head.
It's in my head. The plan, it's there.
Well, and I'm like money math person, right? So I'm like, this is how many clients I need a week. This is what I need. Well, I was like, okay, how much money do I want to make? Right. And then like, it's a big amount I want to make. I'm not making that right now, but I'm like, what do I want to make? Okay. Right. And then I started to get with a realtor and look at areas around, like, and I should say, before the realtor, I figured out like what the square footage of a space and what my ideal space would be. And then it started, looking, and I did go into it thinking, okay, well, this is how much I would like to spend. I'm figuring that out. Like, and I knew I would really like, I wanted a storefront without it being retail, because I didn't want people just coming in and, like stopping in per se, but also, retail is very expensive. Now, if you're selling, if you need to be retail, you need to be retail. And then you can call a realtor and ask them what certain things are going for, like build your budget around it, build your, in your head business plan that you don't have to write out, because that's ridiculous. Like your cash flow.
Right.
You need to know what you need.
Right. Okay, that, when it comes down to it, that's the brass tacks of it all. Yeah, I agree.
And I was very blessed also with clients from very successful people. I mean, oil and gas attorneys, like entrepreneurs, IT, like, so I had these people who are like in my rally monkeys, I call them, that would help me to answer questions, right? Somebody always knows somebody that's going to have an answer. So you just need to verbalize, don't keep it to yourself, speak about it, put it out there, right?
Right.
And so finally started looking in March, finally in June, found it, walked in, found it.
And is that the time? I'm trying to remember when you and I chatted. I don't know, the time's flying it's flying so fast.
Right.
I don't even know.
I found you when I was still looking, because I was like, what?
Okay.
I've got to get, like, I know I'm in the process, right?
Right.
I had my husband and I had, coordinated when he was going to get a bonus, how much we were going to set aside. and then I could use that for rent. He's like, you're going to have to make it work. Like, here's the money. You have to,
you got it.
What equipment do you need? Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had that already planned and set aside. And, so I found you, I looked up, how to start a business, like business or entrepreneurial podcast or something. Yes. And I listened to like the beginning of one. I was like, don't, that's not my person. And then I turned yours on. I'm like, oh, that's my person.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, that's awesome.
So I found you. And like, as soon as I started listening to this pod, like the excitement bubbles were just like, so, like I couldn't, like, it was just like, oh my God, I have all these ideas. It's like,
you're like, it's so excited. Like, I know, because it is.
Right? It was just exuding from it. Yes. Was pouring out of my body. I'm like, but we could do this and think about this. And then you had your 16-step checklist. And I went through that and I was like, dude, I've got this. Like, there are some things that I didn't have, but I was like, no, I got this.
I have this. I can start this business. Yeah. So just a shameless plug for the 16-step checklist. If you're listening and you're about to start, get the checklist. It's handy. It's one page and you can go through it like Stacy did and just make sure you're on the right track. Like, it will give you the confidence too. Once you start seeing this stuff, you're like, okay, this isn't that bad. Like I can actually do this, know? Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Anyways, side note. Okay. So the checklist helped. I'm so glad to hear that.
Right. And too, like I had gone and, I was like, okay, I'm getting the LLC. I'm doing it. Like I'm doing it. Cause everybody's like, do you have an LLC? And I was like, oh, and then the name that was always,
what's the name? Share it with everyone.
Okay, so I love the name of the studio because I was like of course I was talking to my people, my clients. And I was like, I was giving some long technical name. Like I was like, movement principles of Houston. They're like, what the heck?
You're like, that's what it is.
I'm like, but it is. It's movement principles. It's not just Pilates. And they're like, no, that's ridiculous. And they're like, what do you do? I go, well, I fix people. That's what I do. I fix what needs to be fixed. So it's Fix Pilates.
I love it so much. The first time you told me.
Our little tagline is, let us help find your fix, because everybody has something. Had your checklist, had all of those things, and then, found the space. And it was like perfect, like timing. And then it's just been like, okay, here we are.
Yes, I know. Stacy's a go-getter with us. And so excited to have your energy in the group. It's been awesome and making progress along the way. So you then opened your location in July? Is that what you said?
July. Yeah,
started.
I pretty much moved all the stuff in that I had. I didn't have all my pieces yet, but I had a lot and enough to do private lessons, right? And so with that first month or so, I knew when you were talking about grow getters, like that was part of like my like I need to invest in that. That's like 100% going to be invested in, because I need to stay focused. I want the community.
Right.
And I 100% saw the value in that,
Oh, that's awesome.
And no, it's amazing. I love it. And so, then, like looked at, okay, what is a logo going to cost me?
Right.
And got my first, like, let's say I had like, little kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not like tiers, but like stages of moving people. Like I've got like the first 3. Okay.
Yes. Like you got your first group of people, first clients, and then you kind of have like, you laugh about the pipeline because we both come from corporate sales, but it's like, what do you have that's maybe coming?
Right.
People that you're nurturing or that may need you. Yep.
You need to tell every single person what you do. Everybody. The guy at Starbucks.
Everybody. Yeah.
Everybody. Because you're not being weird. You're not saying to the guy at Starbucks, your back looks messed up. Do you need some help?
Right.
You need to be completely verbal. And that's never been a problem for me. Like it's part of my identity, what I do. I love it. I'm so proud of what I do. I'm proud of like all of what Pilates is. Like this is something I love to say too. You're not selling if you have such a passion, because that's serving.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah.
Like
you're not being
serving people who need.
Yes.
I'm one of the people.
Right.
Serving.
Right. That's true.
And I'm paying you because I need you and you are valuable to me.
Right.
Right.
What if I didn't show up and was scared to tell people what I do? Like have this podcast, but never once mentioned anything or when I talk, right? That's a disservice to people because I can help make a difference. And it's the same
Right.
for you. And I love that you don't care. You'll tell the people at Starbucks, right? It's not about being annoying or pushy or trying to sell something or being,
Just
like,
embrace your gift.
yes.
Like I don't know where I heard this the other day, but it was like, there's 3 types of jobs. There's a job, and that's something you do to make money. Okay. There's a career, and that is where you're, doing it to make money, but you see good growth. You're invested, there's growth, there's long-term, and then there's a calling. And some people are never going to have a calling. They're all waiting to find a calling, and that's not going to happen. Because people do. It's like the American dream. I'm going to do that. And I'm not saying people can't if they want to, they can't. But what it was mostly about is like, stop trying to imagine your calling. Like it was more or less focused on where you're at. Where can you grow? Not everything works out that way. So when you do have a calling and you've decided, you have to tell everybody about it, because that is amazing.
Right. So you do that. You practice that, telling people like, how do you do it? Like give an example of like a situation. Okay.
Last night I was at a networking thing. My husband has like a breakfast club with, and so they had a spouse night. I'm like, okay, this is intimidating because these are really high up people.
Right.
Like,
right.
So here we are at like this nice restaurant downtown, mingling. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm really like, I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. This is so nervous. I have to put this name tag on. Like, he's like, get a grip. Like, that's not, I don't just, like for that first part, like, that's not, I don't think anybody's like, I am ready to network.
Yes. Like showtime walking
awkward.
in. Yeah. It is awkward.
So awkward. Okay.
Yes.
And so then I'm like, okay, just get it together. Mind you, I've been doing this now for 13 years. So it's like, you think, but no, it's awkward. So let's just acknowledge that. But as soon as I, oh, what do you do? I'm like, and now I love to say, I'm like, oh, well, I'm a small business owner. I own a Pilates studio. And because now I'm like, of course, it's like, it's probably tattooed on like something. Like I should get a tattoo. I'm like, look at my arm. But right away, I start talking to the gentleman who has his wife. He's the one that runs the club, the breakfast club or whatever. And oh my gosh, I'm having low back pain. I go, well, what's going on with you? And then it's like, well, I get on the Peloton and then I'm on Zooms. I'm like, so your hamstrings are tight from the Peloton and then you're sitting on them all day, right? She's like, see? And I'm like, I see it. And so ultimately, then other people come over. Oh my gosh, Stacy's a Pilates instructor. And she just opened a studio in Edo and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like this wildfire that starts. And next, of course, brought cards, but like, I've had people ask me the most random questions and I'm like, just email me. And sometimes I'll just give them an answer to something or tell them where to look for something that wasn't even business for me, but they will remember me.
Yes.
Send somebody else to me.
Yes. I love that. Did everyone hear that? That she serves people, help people quickly when she can, right? And sometimes that does not mean she's trying to get a sale right then. No. People remember people that are helpful. Yeah. And that actually care, because that's a lot of times what we lack when we meet some business people and we don't feel connected. We don't feel like they really care. And you just serve. You just continually are serving and people notice you and remember you. Oh yeah, I met that girl Stacy at the breakfast club and you should try it. She was so much fun. And you could tell she just loved Pilates. Oh my gosh, here it is. She's got a brand new business. She's a new business owner. Same goes for you. So don't be afraid to just say what you do. If they don't ask you any more questions, you can be done with the conversation.
And you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know. You do know. Yeah. And otherwise, and they keep asking questions like, oh, wait, oh, back pain, oh, or whatever it is. So everyone remember that. So what else have you done just for those that are new and maybe just about to open a business or start? You said you tell people you have business cards.
I'm doing the Grow Getters. So
yes, you're getting coaching. That's awesome.
Super important. Because just like some of these trainings, I'm like,
I didn't
a holiday marketing plan. Okay. I was like, oh my God,
realize I need to do that.
I'm like it was just like eyes like, boo, like,
yes.
oh my gosh, eye-opening, got it, on it, brainstorming.
Yes.
So
What do I need to be doing? So get coaching. That's awesome. Thank you
I
for that.
wrote down all of my people. Like I
Good.
have a list. What is it? What do they call those lists? Like, and when you're starting like a business, I forget what they call them. It's like, if you're doing like multi-level or something, like it's like literally the list of people
your contacts, like your database.
Kind of.
Your database.
There's like a little like
a word. I can't think of it.
Name. Okay.
Yes.
Name. But so I'm thinking really of, in the past 8 years, how many people I've laid hands on,
right.
And taught, whether it be just subbing a class, like who do I know? Like,
so that you can email or reach out to personally or whatever and just say, I'm doing this now. Yeah. So utilize the people that you already know that you've had experience with. So you've done that. You're doing that. And then how are you showing up, or do you foresee showing up regularly besides meeting people and all that? Is there any other method? Maybe it's social or something else. What is it for you that you might start focusing on that might be able to get you even more exposure?
I did do a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Stacy D Pilates.
Okay. The letter D. So Stacy, STACY Pilates.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was more or less like, I've always been good on camera. I'm not shy.
Right.
As you can tell, I'm not shy, but I wanted to do tutorials for people because I'm like, okay, you need to be doing this on the foam roller. Well, I don't know how to foam roll. I'm like, okay, I'll just make a quick video. So they're like tutorials. I did one like professional video. This is hilarious, where I'm wearing my mat class told me to do this, to wear a skeleton suit. So I'm wearing a bodysuit that is, the anatomy. Okay.
Right.
It was Halloween. I got it at Halloween a couple of years ago. And they're like, you need to wear this suit so that, because all you do is talk about anatomy. And so I did a short video and I'm in the suit and I'm showing you. It was actually brilliant because you're seeing what is moving and what's not moving. It's really interesting. So that's what Amber and I also talked about. She put on the suit last week.
Oh my God, wait, do you have this video up? Can people see this? What is it
on my website too? I put it up because I think it's cool if you give back to the community. So it's like community tutorials or something, and it's kind of like my freebie,
okay. This is hilarious. So can people go to it right now? What's your website? So they can see the video.
My website is fixpilates.com. So fix, F-I-X in the same line, Pilates.com.
Perfect. I'm going to put all these links below so y'all can go to it. But the skeleton video of you doing Pilates, I don't know why that's just making me giggle.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So you're thinking about stuff like that for TikTok. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Like stuff like that. And I think what's cool about this is that you feel like, oh, TikTok, that sounds fun. I could do that. And I think everyone needs to think about what sounds fun and not hard to you, where you can show up, because I think some new business owners are like, oh no, I have to be good at Instagram. So I need to, and they don't like it and they don't do it. And I have to be honest. I love Facebook groups. I love my Facebook group and I'm in many Facebook groups, but just the posting and the stuff, I don't feel it connects. That's me. Other people are able to do it and they're magicians and they're awesome with it. But it's for you,
time consuming though.
And it's time consuming and it's hard. So I chose podcasts. We know that. And you're choosing locally meeting people because you are a local business. So it behooves you. You have to be networking if you're a local business. You have to be doing what Stacy's doing. And then it sounds like number 2 could be some kind of fun way. Try TikTok. See if that works. That's awesome. Great. Otherwise, could you do lives? You can ramp up your YouTube channel. Like you said, yes.
What I heard the other day was micro habits to change your life. And I'm like, what about if I did little lives about micro movement habits?
Yes, 100%.
Because honestly, and this all comes from wanting to serve in general. Okay. I want people out of pain. I want to give these very simple fixes. And then of course that's going to somehow come back to me. Right.
And I just have to say, is everyone hearing that? This is coming out of her yearning to serve. So you have to think about for your business, if you do it out of the yearning and just that whole, how do I say this? Just the whole mission of serving.
Right.
Because
Mission
then,
and passion.
yeah, if I said, you have got to serve people today, tell me the way that excites you today, quickly, right now. What could you do to do something? And whatever comes to your head is probably the method. Stacy's probably thinking, well, right now, I could record a video and I could give tips, or I could jump on YouTube and do TikTok or whatever. Like that's
Right.
coming to your head, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone's like, for me, I'd be like, I could record a video, or I could record like an audio. I could do a podcast episode. Like
Yeah,
that's what comes
your
to my
avenue?
mind. Yes. So what comes to your mind that's comfortable, that's easy, that doesn't feel forced, that
Right.
you can serve? It's out of that
Right.
yearning to serve.
that's
So
what
thank
it's
you,
about.
Stacy, for saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I literally, people laugh, but I am serious. I have learned more on TikTok than I ever thought in my life.
You have? I've never even looked at TikTok.
Oh
My
my
kids
gosh,
do it.
it's dangerous. Okay, because everybody's like, oh, it's people dancing. No. I have gross anatomy TikTok, like somebody dissecting a body. Like, like they're like, look at the spleen. Like I have chiropractic, I have cooking, I have, of course, healthy eating stuff. I have, of course, funny pet videos, because you can't go without a funny pet video, or pranking. I love pranks. Okay, that's hilarious. But I mean, what did I look up the other day? And I found something, just like, for me, I'm always a movement anatomy geek, myofascial release. So I've been like, oh, you want a good explanation? Let me send you this TikTok, because people are doing this not only just to grow businesses, but because they're like me, who want to serve.
I love that you're like, okay, we're going to try this. And I always say too, it's an experiment. Every single thing, every show you attend, every person you meet, everything you say, every put up,
Right.
everything, it never look at it as like, oh, I failed, or I do this,
Right.
that didn't work. It's, oh, this is an experiment. Let's see what happens.
It's action.
Yeah. It's action, and you go. And now
the
you
only
go.
thing you can do wrong is not do it.
I
right?
agree.
Because I learned that a long time ago, because I would doubt and doubt and doubt. And what does Mel Robbins say? You have 5-second rule. That
Yes.
5-second
Yes.
rule. So you have
love that.
5 seconds before you talk yourself out of doing something, like unloading the dishwasher, which I talk myself out of all the time. But the only thing you can do is do wrong is not do it. Right. I tell people that all the time. Here's what you can do wrong. You won't do it.
That's the wrong way. There's any other method, anything else you do. And even if you flop, do whatever, who cares? It's an experiment. You see. Yeah. You see.
And no matter what, that is technically leading you to being successful. It's never a loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, let's play around with what's out there in today's time. See if it works. If it doesn't, hey, whatever.
Right. So they can go to fixpilates.com. And what was Stacy D? What was it again? Was that the YouTube?
It was the YouTube, Stacy D Pilates on YouTube. I have not done anything recent in there.
Oh, okay.
But I have the skeleton video in there.
Yes.
It's very good hip training.
Yes.
Workout.
Yes.
Our hips are the weakest part of our body. If you're having back pain, your hips are weak. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And, and I'm definitely going to do more.
You're networking with people constantly, and you're keeping clients, you're retaining them, which is huge part of it that people don't concentrate on either, because you're people that are already paying for you are most likely to keep paying for you or pay for
or they're going to
again.
give people.
Yes, and
referral is your biggest. And I tell my clients that I ask for the referral. I have an incentive to refer.
That's good.
That is good. You get an automatic 10% off. New clients get a new 10% off. But if you have referred me somebody who has bought, you get 10% off your next package. Absolutely.
I love it. Did
you
hear
have
that?
To, because they trust.
Retention. So I have a question for you here. I want to know how you feel now compared to how you felt working for someone else, doing what you love. Now that it's your own business and everything that you've done, what is the transformation that you, Stacy, yourself have gone through? How are you today compared to where you were when you first were like, maybe I should do this?
One, it's very surreal still for me. It's surreal that I'm walking in my studio. This
Love
is
it.
my business. And, what the first was my client saying that your whole aura is different. You're functioning as a different person, the freedom and the excitement And the joy is so contagious. It's just been so amazing. And to literally feel so excited to go into work, like work's work. Okay. We're not always excited to work. Let's be honest. Like it's still a job. But to just know it's your baby, it's like your baby, and you just want to like do everything you can to love and grow it all.
Yes. But you feel like your whole energy changed and people notice. You're saying other people have noticed.
Oh, yes, totally.
And your husband, has he noticed a difference in you as well?
Yeah. He'll be like, I guess, it's that.
I don't know. Let me go get the kids.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me go get the kids. He's noticed that I task him much more.
Yes. You outsource your projects.
I will have to say Derek is like really, he really approaches parenting as like a team player. So that's super helpful because
you have to.
Part. Like, my time, and he does try to give me that time, especially when he sees the benefit of just like the business. He really, it's like, he'll be like, oh, well, your business. I'm like, well, technically it's ours, but
technically it's
like,
both
but
of
it's
ours,
yours.
but
I can't make any decisions. I'm like, no, you can't make any decisions really.
Yeah.
It's like, great. But like my neighbors, like I'm very close with all my neighbors, and just people have just said, wow, that's really freaking cool. And inspired others to start thinking outside the box.
Yeah. And that you can do this. I know. Doesn't it just amaze you that people have these dreams? I mean, be surprised. People around you are probably like, I've always wanted to start my business. They don't do literally not one thing. And I see that all the time.
They have a skill set outside what they do. Like you had no idea. And then you see it and you're like, what? Yeah. I knew you for like 6 years. What are you talking? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't see their skills, or they see it and they won't do one thing because they don't think that it's possible for them. And I think you have to look around. There's proof.
Or it's not the right time.
Or it's not the right time. Yeah.
Guess what? It's never the right time.
Yeah. I know it's not, but when you feel it and you find a location and everything's lining up, you're like, this is it. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this moment to jump in head first, do my own thing. And so I'm just so happy for you, Stacy. You have a magnetic personality. I'm sure that's why you have such loyal clients and you make a difference for them. And I know that you are going to keep drawing people to you because you're going to keep telling people what you do. You're going to share how their lives can be better through Pilates. Many don't know, like you said, they're scared of it and they don't get it, but you want to be that voice that helps them because so many people have back pain and all kinds of pain. And I love the angle, by the way, that it's to fix things. This isn't just some like joy class to go and like meditate. This is actually helping your body in so many ways, mentally, physically, the whole thing, and what a difference it can make. And I just love the mission and love how you
gives you longevity. Longevity and an upright posture, which hopefully that's the only way we want to be.
I know, right? We don't want to be hunched over and all that stuff, but I love it. I love your mission. And I love how you just constantly are like out to serve. I think if everyone embodies that, then our businesses are going to be successful because we're serving people notice either they'll want to be a part of it or they will refer us to people. And we know that's how our business grows, by referrals. And then also by finding a main method of showing up, and showing up can be networking locally. It can be a YouTube channel. It can be whatever. It can be pick one thing besides networking and meeting people and getting referrals. Yeah, just to try and do it.
Not for you,
whatever, then go on to the next. So I'm just so excited. And I've got all your links below so that people can click on it, find you, see you in a skeleton costume.
Right.
Yeah, I'm totally pumped that I get to share you with the world and fellow Texan here. It's so awesome to have you. And thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for helping others through sharing your story, because it's not all sunshines and rainbows, but we do it anyway. Because we want to make the difference and we want to make money doing what we love. So thank you so much, Stacy, for being here. I hope you have a great weekend. And I can't wait to blast this out.
Thank you.
The world.
I really appreciate it. And I love to, give back and share what I can, because it's gonna speak to somebody. And I just want that somebody to have the joy that I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wonderful mission. Well, thank you, Stacy. Oh my goodness. What a fun episode. What a fun interview with Stacy. I hope you all got a lot of insights out of that and you realize that you too can build your business dream. Thank you again for being here. And I want to offer it up. If you need help with your new business, know that you can contact me anytime. You can click the link below to my website. I offer free consultations if you're interested in one-on-one coaching. I do have a Grow Getters membership for new business owners to help you get everything going and off the ground. And I know it could be invaluable to you and help you start making money. So make sure you check out those below. And that is it. Y'all have a great day. Bye now. Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.